Welcome to All Things Engineering by EIT. This is a podcast where we cover industry insights, emerging trends, and practical knowledge across engineering disciplines.
Thanks for joining us today. Welcome to All Things Engineering by EIT. This is sort of like a platform where we cover industry insights, emerging trends, and also some practical knowledge across the engineering disciplines. And then, of course, today we'll be diving into a topic that is really close to home for a lot of us. We'll be sort of like looking into what life looks like as an engineer just beyond the job title. We'll be talking about the identity, the pressure, priorities, and also how to keep up with a sense of self while you chasing your professional success. And joining in the conversation today is Benjamin Ngosi. He's our EIT master's student. And Benjamin, maybe if you can just introduce yourself, perhaps maybe just share, a personal passion or fun fact that has to do with has nothing to do with engineering. Maybe if you can just go ahead.
Yes. Hi, guys. My name is Benjamin Ngosi. People usually call me Benji. I am a mechanical engineer. I work for a company called FAM. I am the head of engineering for FAM. And personally, I myself, now that I spoke about my professional titles and whatsoever, I am a guy who loves bodybuilding. Grew up loving rugby because I was always a big stubby guy. And then I fell in love with weightlifting. So I'm a guy who's also, at my free time, I gym quite a lot and study about how the human body works. I think that could potentially be because of my wife, because she's a medical doctor. So combined with her passion and my interest on how the body works has been such a thing that takes a lot of my time. And besides that, personally, I also am a family man, married. I have two young boys, a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. They actually the ones that consumes most of my time, actually. But yeah, that's me as a whole.
Oh, thanks, Benji. I thought maybe you canceled your gym membership because I wanted to ask if you're still into fitness. So yeah, thanks that you shared that. Can I go ahead and just call you Benji in between?
Of course, please.
Okay, good stuff, brother. Thanks very much for just an overview of your introduction, and maybe to shift from that, first thing first, obviously. My big question to you will be something to do with identity. Did you ever feel like maybe as an engineer, like identity became like a big thing? Do you being like as an engineer has some sort of like a whole identity? And if so, how do you sort of like pull yourself out of that mindset?
Okay. Yes, engineering has given me some form of an identity. Yes, that's true. But if I have to be honest, I followed a passion that was actually like kind of like of a talent of my own. So the engineering actually came after the fitness, very interestingly, because when I was younger, I was a very average kid, very average, wanted to do things on an average basis. And I was a very fat kid as a rugby player. I was way shorter. I weighed like 125 kgs and was being something that I've been struggling to get rid of. But thank God by the age of 16, I lost the weight. I lost 50 kgs. And it wasn't just the weight that I shed, but it was also habits. My overview on life completely changed, where I used to be very average performance. I became a go-getter, because I felt like I achieved something that I never thought I would have done in the past. You're growing up and people are telling you like this in your genes, this is who you are. they're not incorrect. Obviously, if I go back to those habits, I go back to that weight. But it also generated this level of focus and energy that I could actually put into my academics. And with some mentorship and help from my brother and some teachers, they made me realize that, hey, you're actually a very technical guy. You like working with your hands, you like building stuff. As a kid, that would be my dad's garage if I'm not playing with my friends. Growing up, we didn't have much toys, so we used to make like cars out of wire and stuff like that. We call them draadkar. So you start noticing all the stuff that you did as a kid for toys and fun, that, oh, actually, I can take this and make a career out of it. So it's more as not engineering giving me an identity. It's just a portion of my personal identity as a whole. I don't know if that kind of explains it a bit.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like the way you mentioned, so it's obviously something that like it's been like building up. It just didn't happen like instantly. And like with that, like how does it sort of like this identity like affects your whole life or your relationship? Is it something that like has like both negatives and positive, and like how do you sort of like just move on with it?
Yes, it does have an effect on both sides. So I know a lot of people all over the world will talk about work-life balance, and because of work-life balance, you have this identities and here and here and here. It's something that I questioned at the beginning of my career, where I see a professional, where they are in a professional environment, they are quite formal and strict, and and then when they are out of that work environment, they are completely different people. Some people are very difficult people in a professional environment. They are very friendly. You get kind of shocked, right? I don't believe in that. To be honest, I believe in work-life integration. I believe that there's different portions of yourself as a human being, and those are stuff that we inherit genetically, and these are things that are being taught by our parents. You know when to switch on. Okay, now we are serious, and now we have to focus, and you also have to know when to switch on. I'm playful and I'm fun. So obviously, I'm not the type of engineer who sits at home and watches anything to do with engineering and cars and stuff like that. That it becomes a bit too much. Then you switch on your family side. Some of bits of the engineering comes if you may be having a conversation that is maybe science or engineering related, if it comes to that. But then another part of you gets opened up when you may be discussing with certain people, like at home. But if it's a topic that is serious, the seriousness out of you gets into it. If it's a joyful time, then it's joyful, and even you have to take it at work. Not everything has to be serious, because you are working with individuals with emotions and all that. During lunch, you can't be the same person sitting on behind a desk doing calculations and drawings. You're going to be joyful and playful and make jokes and be a bit of yourself. And I believe that a work environment should allow you to have those portions of yourself, because you spend 8 hours of your day at work. So I personally believe in integration. So even in terms of identity, the engineer should not identify you identify the engineering. And it should be, what kind of an engineering are you, and also what kind of a person are you? Are you a person who teaches people with respect? That should come regardless of engineering. Are you a person that can focus on a task? That should come excluding engineering. Are you a person who can be playful and make some jokes? That engineering should be the addition to that. So certain parts of you comes out at work, certain parts of you comes out at work more dominant than others. I don't take home thinking about calculations and simulations and stresses and no. I go home, I'm with my kids, and if there's a topic that has to do with some science or some engineering, and even the way you explain it, you might explain to somebody who's not an engineer, and then you spin it almost like a fun fact. Did you know this works like this? Something like that. So yeah.
Yeah. So it's all about just switching on, switching off. And quite an important point you've raised there, because a lot of time we are too focused, and we just tend to forget that we need to like have time, we need to have joy. And this sort of like leads to my next question, that what actually brings joy to you, like that has nothing to do with engineering, and how do you sort of like make time for that?
Hobbies I like explained is I like weightlifting and bodybuilding, but for me, what brings joy is making contribution to people, making contribution to people and the world. And it does not have to do anything with engineering. Engineering can be used as a tool to do that. But me as a father, as a husband, what brings joy to my heart is knowing that I made a contribution to my kids, I made a contribution to my wife, and I made a contribution at work to my colleagues, to my friends. I care a lot about human connections, and that's something that I value quite a lot. And that doesn't matter what is the activity. I like using it to connect. And one other important part is also connecting with yourself. That's what I like the gym so much, because it's not about science, not about physics, but for me, what I enjoy about when I work out, typically when you lift weights, you do 10 reps when they call it. But for me, if you have to explain it now, very engineering, there's a resistance and you move it from point A to B. And when you move it from A to B, it's success. If you do 10 reps, you've told yourself subconsciously, I've succeeded 10 times. You repeat it 4 times, you told yourself subconsciously 40 times. That builds into inner motivation. Even if you're a guy who likes jogging, every single step that you take, you challenge yourself, your inner self, you're alone, you're in your head, and you're building that relationship with yourself. You get to pour into your own cup. And the gym, as one of those activities, is one of those moments where I'm also with myself, thinking about myself, challenging myself with whatever activity that I'm doing that fills up my cup. In a world with the difficulties that we face, you get to be in a moment where you can say, I can achieve, and I can improve, So yeah, that's how I take it.
Nice. Yeah, so, and like a lot of that you just mentioned, obviously you need to make sure that you reserve time for that. I'll tell you about myself. A lot of time I do travelings and work and stuff, but I always make sure that weekends are for my families. And like on your side, because the thing is, you find like a lot of people, like they're struggling with like making time for things that they love, and because of work schedule and things like that. Do you have like your number one, I would say, a tip that you can share that with this can help you to make time to do whatever you love?
Yes, definitely. I would say number one, setting boundaries. You have to set some form of boundaries. I'm also in a line of work where traveling is one of the things, and also people have access to you using things like your phone. So I build a culture at home that when I get home, my phone is on the charger. Then people who need to access me, like family, friends, and whatnot, they usually give me a phone call. Most people, they know that I would hardly answer WhatsApps and emails over in the afternoons. My phone is on the charge, it's away from me, it's sitting in the kitchen, and that's my time to be with my kids. That's my time to be with my wife. Even when I train, I put my headphones on and I connect my headphones to my computer instead of at my with my phone, and that's my time. So you set some boundaries, obviously, because obviously even while you're at work, you have to set some boundaries with family and friends and whatnot, where you text back to say, I'm a bit busy now in the meeting. So you setting boundaries is number one. Number two is definitely there will be seasons, guys. There will be seasons where this one needs more priority than this, and just being aware of that I am at a season where I'm working on a project that takes a little bit of more of my time. So understand that season will end. One most important thing, I spoke to my wife about this when we were younger. She was studying medicine, I was studying engineering, and we soon started working. And we had this nerve-wracking conversation: is that will we be able to even have a family, have kids, because doctors are so busy working calls and working night shifts, and you traveling. And what I told her was that, okay, there's certain things, two variables that I see that are important. There's quantity and quality. And at the season where we do not have the quantity, then you need to focus on the quality. Make each and every moment count. If you know that you're traveling and in a week's time, the time you spend with your kids, because I've seen people, they sit with their families, they say they're with their kids, but they're on their phone the whole time. And everyone is sitting on screens and tablets. So at that moment, screens away, quality time, have activities that you guys do together, have some fun, have some discussions, phones away, technologies away, work away, just quality time. And especially if you see that you're lacking on the quantity, you might have better quality than an individual who has a typical 9 to 5 with a lot of quantity of time. So it's basically just managing that. And for me and my family, we value quality over quantity.
100%. And with like quality time, and if you look at quality time and sort of like you try to quantify it, I mean, like if I spend, or if you spend like maybe a day, but it's like proper quality time, and it happens that maybe you don't spend like maybe 2 days or so with your family, but it's still sort of like important. It's still something that sort of like stands out to say, look, but we had like a good quality day, and you feel good about it, even though I couldn't spend 2 days with them. But the fact that there was one day where you dedicated yourself to spend time with your people, I think, yeah, that goes all out. And then just leading to I want to talk about cost of excellence. Has success in your career ever sort of like come at the cost of something personal? And if so, was it like something worth it?
Definitely. In a career that is high demanding, with the traveling, and another thing that makes it quite complicated, the type of travelings that I do have is not like a 1 day, 1 week here. We have construction work where you can disappear for like months. And one of the things that it definitely had an impact on was my academic career. So I started, or I attempted to do my master's a long time ago, from the 2016. And at a time, I was studying at an institution that did not really accommodate people who studied part-time. But that's why now I am studying with EIT, because they can accommodate that. I can attend classes while I'm on construction. I can write wherever I am in the world. And that's one of the reasons why I joined EIT. So the traveling and everything definitely made a huge impact on my studies at the time when I was doing it. Family time, definitely. I missed quite a lot of ceremonies, weddings, and yeah, I almost missed the New Year's Eve. And one of the things that is very close to my heart, like I keep mentioning it, I love bodybuilding. As much as I do bodybuilding, I have never stepped on stage in my entire life. Reason for that is because every time I prep to go on stage, then I would travel. Then I would travel for months on a construction site. It definitely skews your diets, your workouts, and whatsoever. And then you're not in prep anymore. Because when you prep for going on stage, you are in a bit of a vulnerable stage. Your body is lacking water and whatsoever. So the reason why I've never, one of the reasons why I've never been on stage is my career. But I've never given up. I don't give up. Every single year, I try to attempt it and grow. Was it worth it? Yes. Reason why I'm saying that is that the challenges that I faced in the storms of engineering, construction, and all that has definitely been very character building. I know now, even if I have to be with family, focus on my studies like I am doing now, focus on bodybuilding, I am a different character. There's something that it has built with me because it is a very high pressure environment. It has definitely sharpened how I work with people, how I see people, and how I interact with people, and how I can give back to people.
Okay. And just going back, talking about obviously cost of something over your success in your career. Was there the hardest sacrifice you have ever made?
Yo, yeah, I would say close to my heart was mental health, which is a burnout. I've experienced burnout before. It's not nice. Mental health issues is serious, and no one is immune to it. It can happen to anyone, where you like this engine, it just goes, and there's no breaks to say, whoa, let's take a break. You need to recover. And one of the biggest things that it made an impact on was my mental health, because then that had an effect on everything else, which is family time, gym, whatsoever. So I've been through that kind of a sacrifice. And also, I would answer the same question. The previous question is that, was it worth it? Definitely, I would say yes. I don't live life with regrets, because then it gave me access, and it changed my mindset towards mental health. I started being more open to mental health, because when people think that mental health, they think an alien, or I don't know, they take it to the extreme. They don't understand mental health, and I don't blame people, because people are not educated about it. But it gave me access to actually access a psychologist, and through those sessions, I learned so many things about myself that I didn't know. Those sessions were very fruitful. It helped me and geared me up to know myself better, how I am wired, and it gave me better tools how to tackle life.
Mm, And just maybe circling back from what we just touched based on, support system plays a huge role in life balance. And with that, what role has your family played? It could be a family, friends, or partner, sort of like played in like sort of like shaping how you manage your work and life.
Definitely. Like I said, I believe in work-life integration. Yes, there's certain portions of it that you leave at the door when you enter home. But don't forget, we are humans that carries energy.
Yeah.
And when we carry that energy from work, you might not want to talk about work, but you're carrying some form of energy, whether positive or negative. You are going to carry it home. They will notice it in how you interact. And by opening up, being vulnerable with those that you love, friends, family, they can ask, are you having a hot day, had a good day, you're celebrating whatsoever. They're there for you. My wife, my kids, they know everything about work, and they celebrate with me with successes at work, and they are also a shoulder to cry on when I'm having a hard time in my career as well. So from that discussion I told you about, where we value quality, that's one of the aspects
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
we share with each other, and then we support one another in our careers, instead of that having that mindset of like, I want my wife, not the doctor, but bring the doctor, let pour out, and let me support you with whatever I know, or whatever I believe in order to strengthen you to go back into the world.
Yeah, 100%. And with that, so obviously your family plays a huge role. They are backing you. And is there any specific moment where you got this support from your family and you're like, this actually made a huge difference in my life? Is there like one that you can point out?
Definitely, definitely. It happened, I think it was around 2017, 2018. It was my very first big project. I was far away from home, sitting in Saldanha, and it was one of the biggest projects that we had. at a company, and I had huge responsibilities. I was construction manager, and I was an engineer on site, and I was very young. And like I said, I just kept going and going and going and solving problems. And I noticed that I am not okay, And there were moments where my mom would call me at like 9 o'clock at night, and she would hear the reverse siren sounds from vehicles, and she hears cranes and forklifts and everything, and it's noisy. And it's almost like she could feel me that I'm not okay. And then she just spoke words of encouragement to me that you're gonna get through it. Push through it. You're gonna be okay. I believe in you. You've been through a lot. Know that while we here at home, we're vouching for you. That success that you're gonna gain is not just a success for you and your team, but even for us at home, because you represent us. You are Benjamin before you are an engineer. So that touched my heart. And my wife also said something similar, where she was going through a hard time herself. She was still studying, and what felt valuable was that, the world can get chaotic as long as we have one another, and we love one another, and we support one another. And that definitely brought this massive motivation, where you start not looking at the problems that you're facing as big as it is, because then you know that you have this army behind you, even if they are at home supporting you. The same spirit that you see on TV when the Springboks plays at rugby, and you have all the supporters in South Africa wearing all the Springbok clothes, and everyone is cheering. I'm a big rugby fan, sorry guys. But if you just look at the energy, right? You see the energy, and everyone is like excited when you score a try, and everyone is happy. And when your family calls you, that's how you feel.
Yeah.
You feel like you're the player in the game. You're the one who has to execute it, and you might be heading it, but there's a whole team behind you supporting you and showing you love.
100%. And you mentioned something very profound there. I mean, like, life can be unfair most of the time, and I think you just need someone to just say, like you said, you're gonna be okay, just to be able, to build up the momentum and just move on. And this leads to, just before we wrap up. So I'm looking now at the bigger picture. How has your definition of success sort of like changed over the years?
Oh, definitely. That has changed. Obviously, you're young in your 20s, you just got into your career, and you just care about this massive escalates regarding, maybe it can be academic. I want to be the doctor, PhD, whatsoever. Or you want to be the best engineer in this field, and I want to get to management. And especially with the challenges we have in South Africa, you also care about money too much. And then that was the drive. That was the drive. Get in, do your best, and grow, 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 so that you can get to the top. And today, definitely, it looks different. Yes, I've climbed the ladder somewhat, but now for me, success is giving back, being able to make contribution to people, because at the end of the day, when your due date is there, where your maker is calling you, and you have to look back in life, what's going to matter? Is it going to be the PhDs, all the money? Is it going to be the P, whatever, But that's things that you're going to leave on the world. You're going to leave them here, and then they will rot and whatsoever. But if you want to remain forever, you need to make an impact on somebody's life. That when people think about you, there's like, this person have made an impact in my life in this format. Sometimes you do it intentionally, and sometimes unintentionally. It's about your character at the end of the day, and how you treat people. So that's why I say the things like the engineering and also whatsoever, they are an addition to who you are, because a person will remember you, Berry, instead of just your title. They say that he is this person, and even in this role, this is how he have impacted my life. So for me, success would be the memories that you would leave behind on this world. If tomorrow is your due date, your expiry date is tomorrow,
Yeah.
that for me is success.
Good. Sounds very good. And obviously, now that you have lived, and if I would ask, what would you tell your younger self about success? And not only about that, but obviously, young people listening, young engineers, because also if you can look at it these days, more especially young people, like you said, they care about money and titles and accolades and things like that. But in terms of like maybe sharing your wits about like your whole journey of success, how or what would you tell your younger self or young person listening now and say, okay, I look forward to have that kind of life, look forward to achieve and do very well, not all about money and titles.
I would say character. Character, look at your character. It's something that I continuously try to teach, whether in person or social media or whatsoever. You can come with your distinctions and you can come with the PhDs. Your character is so important, guys. Being able to have a good character where you have humility, you have a good attitude, you focused, you to accept challenges and take on challenges, the go-getter, you don't give up, you're willing to face whatever challenges, you can be transparent and share a vulnerability with your peers to say that I don't know that, but I'm excited to learn it. If you have that in place, no matter what degree is on your wall, you will excel in life. Because you can have all the degrees in the world and have a terrible character. People are struggling to work with you because maybe you're so focused on those PhDs and escalate. And if you want to get there by stepping on people's heads to get there, don't forget people that you leave behind is people who are hurt and they might remember that you're an engineer but you are a terrible individual. But if you have a good character who's willing to coexist with human beings and be humble to learn and not be brave enough to contribute whatever idea that you might have, take the risk, in making a suggestion and molding yourself. So that's why I say character, mold yourself, build yourself in the best you that you can be. So that whatever degree you get capped,
Yeah.
it's just an addition to what you can contribute in the world.
No, 100%. You actually shared a very great words of wisdom right there, Benji. And let's say, for instance, someone is listening now, and obviously, I can tell like you've got mentorship in you, all right? And someone is listening now and would love to, go further and maybe connect you. It could be on the internet, social media. Where can maybe one find you?
Yes, I am on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, not so much. But yes, even on LinkedIn, I have my own channel as well that I would like to take this passion that you see in me to share with the world, where I would like to share knowledge on with young professionals on how to navigate this new world from university jumping into the corporate environment. So you can just search for me on LinkedIn as Benjamin Ngosi, and then you should find me there.
Okay, perfect. So you're building up that, mentorship program.
Yes. I first started it at 2019 during COVID. I stopped a little bit, but at that time, you're in your house, you can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
What I was going through at that time was that I've gained so much knowledge. I can't die with this. I have to contribute to the world. I have to give it to somebody, and then they must take it and run with it. And a lot of people had come back to me and said that, hey, man, you need to bring that back. It was very good. And I know life got busy with your work and everything, but please come back. We need that and share that with the world. And it's for free. You take it if you need it, and then hopefully it can help you in your career.
100%. And and then I think with that you've summed up quite nicely. I mean, like you've shared such an insightful conversation, positive words, and someone who is listening out there, and I'm sure it will make a very positive impact in their lives. And if you're listening and you'd like more sort of like this kind of real stories, we have students sharing their successful stories at EIT, so you can check out eit.edu.au. Benjamin, brother, I just want to say thank you, but before that, do you have any maybe last words of wisdom that you want to share?
Guys, go study at EIT. It's awesome. Really, what you guys have done in the world is huge, guys. Making the contribution to so many people who would like to further their careers. And you guys have definitely created a platform. So last words is to say thank you to you, Barry, and your colleagues, and Elia, and everyone to EIT from all the way in Australia. Thank you so much for this, for creating this institution and creating this platform. This was very fruitful. I really enjoyed this. I hope you did too. But yeah, that's my last word.
Thanks very much, Benjamin. Incredible conversation right there. We've had that helping an engineer is so much more than just a job title. It's about identity, choices and sacrifices you make in life, and also just making sure that you find joy outside of work. I would say my biggest takeaway from this discussion is it's all about success isn't just about an achievement, but it's all about balance, connection, protecting parts of life that make you feel fully yourself. So remember, your career is part of life, but your life is bigger than your career. So keep on building, learning, and most importantly, keep enjoying the journey. Benjamin, thanks very much once again. Until next time.
Of course. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow and subscribe, and so that you don't miss future conversations. We've got some exciting guests lined up and a lot more to share. So do connect with us on social media and share your thoughts, questions, or experiences. So until next time, stay curious and keep pushing boundaries. Thanks, everyone.